Hi, I'm Maciej Giemza and this is my world of motorcycles.
Maciek's story, his beginnings with motorcycles, or rather his very first encounter with a motorcycle, goes back to when he was 6 years old. That's when he received his first motorcycle, a Husqvarna, which was bought for him. We noticed that he was very brave on that motorcycle and started to pick up so much speed that at one point he didn't see a dip in the ground. His front wheel fell in and he was thrown over the handlebars. He got a bit banged up, and at that moment he was a little upset with the motorcycle.
No, I don't remember that accident. It has no impact on the way I ride today. Back then, as a kid, I was upset with the bike for a while, just like my dad said, but you know, nothing happens without a reason.
Maciej knew all the riders in Poland even when we didn't know who was on television or when we were at some event watching, wondering who was racing. We always asked Maciej, he knew everything. He was a treasure trove of knowledge about this sport from a very young age.
The fascination with motorcycles and motorization in general was always there. I read all the motorcycle and car magazines, everything I wanted to have a motorcycle. But when it actually came down to starting to race, that's when my parents started to have some doubts about whether I should.
We kind of thought of the first competition as something he'd just try, maybe he'd fall, get hurt and wouldn't want to ride anymore, just like when he was sick. But that's not how it turned out. After that, things went the way they did. Training sessions, bigger and bigger motorcycles, the first starts in the Polish championships. And right in the first year, he made it to the podium. That was also kind of signal for us that he had talent. Today, we feel a great deal of gratitude towards someone who unfortunately is no longer with us. The late Zbigniew Banasik, who spent a lot of time with Maciej during those first years of training.
Every moment I get on a motorcycle, for me, it's a pleasure. I really don't treat it as work, because I do it because I like it, because I love it, and I don't feel at all like I'm working. Of course, when you go to training and ride a motorcycle, sometimes you have to do certain tasks, right? You have to do some timed laps, you have to test this, that, and the other, but for me, each of these things is a passion and in the end, a pleasure.
We are aware that out there, speeds on the off-road tracks can reach up to 180 kilometers per hour. We are afraid, but we can't take away his passion, his dreams, and what he does and what he wants to achieve in life.
I try to think about what I'm doing and generally avoid unnecessary, dangerous situations while driving, because that's not advisable in this sport, especially at these speeds. My grandma always tells me, son, when you go to a competition, drive slowly, and that's how I drive. There are moments that we simply can't predict. We're riding, I don't know, 130 kilometers per hour. The motorcycle kicks out in the wrong direction, and suddenly it's like, well, that's a big moment, right? That's exactly when we have that big moment, and for a few kilometers we have to slow down and process what just happened and thank everyone up there that nothing happened, that we're still here and still riding, but you forget about it pretty quickly. You know, I come from an enduro background, and honestly I only had some brief episodes with motocross, but I really enjoyed going to motocross tracks for training. I think that also helped a bit when it comes to enduro riding, because on a motocross track you pick up some speed and gain a bit of courage. Even during an enduro special stage, if there's a moment where you have to can jump something and someone else doesn't jump it, but you see the opportunity because you have the speed and the takeoff, that kind of thing has helped me over time.
The Dakar is the ultimate dream for every motorcyclist. There are thousands of such motorcyclists in the world, but only few actually manage to start in this rally. And quietly, to myself, I always thought that one way or another we would do the Dakar someday, but I imagined it would be when Maciej was around 26 or 27 years old. But things turned out the way they did. All in team recognized his talent and took him earlier to those long distance rallies.
The Dakar is widely considered the toughest rally. Also precisely because there are simply many more opportunities to make significant mistakes, numerous hidden traps, and a considerably larger number of formidable competitors you have to race against. The differences in performance aren't particularly big, and you always want to be further and further ahead, striving to be more and more in front of everyone else. First Dakar, 24th place, amazing. Everyone was shocked that the rookie, the youngest competitor, could achieve that place. That Dakar, my first one, which I actually rode through with a smile on my face most of the time, but it was quite tough because, as I said, sometimes it was extremely hot, like 40 degrees, and other times it was 5 degrees and raining. And there were also the high altitudes that really took a toll too, because you had to conserve your energy with every fall or mishap. You couldn't just get up motocross style, yank the bike up right away, hop on and go. You had to take a break, catch your breath, because otherwise at 5,000 meters you'd run out of oxygen. At these long distance rallies, everyone is, well, maybe not a friend, but at least a good companion you can talk to. Exchange a few words about how the stage went or whether they got lost too. For example, here, if we got lost or someone had some problems somewhere, there's no rule, because sometimes you might do really poorly on one stage, but on the next stage you hit the right navigation point and overtake factory riders. The next day they start behind you, so they already look at you a bit differently, right? Because after all, you didn't get lost, they did. It's really nice there. The atmosphere is really great.
Every competitor's dream is to keep getting better. And now that dream of Dakar has probably come true. The second dream, probably for Maciej and for us as parents, is for him to climb as high as possible in Dakar.
I've completed a full Dakar, but I still like to do a few more in my life, and for sure, at the minimum, fight to get into the top 10. And maybe one day I'll manage to beat the best Polish result, set by Kuba Przytoński, who finished in 8th place. Those might be rather distant plans, but I definitely still want to achieve a lot on the motorcycle before I start thinking about what I'd like to do next in life.